Hey yo, welcome back to a couple knuckleheads talking about coffee and life. So we are the
I
couple
won't yell.
knuckleheads.
I won't yell.
I told Armin, you got
Kristen
to be
said, "Don't."
quiet, don't yell.
Yeah, and I'm also not getting smaller.
Yeah.
I am losing weight, but the bags aren't. I was waiting for that joke. We like
Oh,
that one?
yeah.
No.
Yes. Anyways, we ended last time with just a intro to who we are and a little bit about our company. And this time, we want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the coffee market in the whole wide world. What's going on, Armin? Why is prices going up?
Well, there's two. I actually was reading about. Well, I know why our coffee is the prices are going up, but I also chocolate as well. So there was a drought in Brazil that's reduced the amount of coffee in the market. And there's also chocolate that's going up, and that's hurting chocolate prices as well. But in our case, coffee. My wife asked me, so why does Brazil affect Guatemala and Mexico? And I think I'll try. You can fix it if I made a mistake. Go because say there's 100 pounds of coffee in the world, and we consume 110 somehow, and now there's 30% less coffee in the world. That affects all prices,
Right.
not just. So Brazil is still probably cheaper than Guatemala and Mexico, but it pulls everything to that not enough coffee in the world mentality, and so there's less coffee to go around. End the
Right.
story.
Yeah. And Brazil is a mass producer. Brazil and Vietnam produce a ton of coffee. Both.
I didn't know about Vietnam until recently, but I
Yeah.
knew about Brazil, but I never knew about Vietnam being a big producer.
It's more like, yeah, commercial scale. A lot of your lower grown coffee comes out of Vietnam, and quite a bit of that comes out of Brazil as well. But they both, you combine them, and I think that's like half the coffee produced out of those two
Yeah,
places.
I think the Asia was wetter. I know, like, wasn't not Peru.
Those are Papua New
What's
Guinea.
that? Papua New Guinea had the
Yeah.
opposite issue. They were too
Right.
wet,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so too cool. Well, if you're listening to us in the mountain states or anywhere they grow stuff in the ground, you listen. You know how it works. Too wet, too dry, too. It's got to be perfect
Right.
for the grass to come up or the soil to come up or the corn. So same with the bean. It's a cherry. Too wet, the issue for that crop, or too dry for that crop is an issue. So
Well, yeah.
just right.
Yeah. You need it just right. Yeah. So growing up in Nebraska, I mean, that's every time we plant a garden, right? I mean, if you planted your garden and then you got a crap ton of rain, it just wash all your seeds away. So you didn't get a
Yeah,
good product, if it was super rainy. If it was too dry, it didn't get enough moisture, you'd have to water it essentially. So when you're talking
yeah.
about big scale, obviously in the mountains, I know when I was in Colombia, well, it was probably 8 years ago, 10 years ago now. I mean, the mountain, they're in the mountains, right? They can't drive tractors through there. They can't irrigate very well. I mean, it's drastically different than flat Nebraska. We can hook up irrigation and hose and whatever, but like there, it's you're reliant on God producing water essentially.
Yeah.
The rain needs to come
Well,
or
Nebraska,
not
they
too
have
much.
irrigation. How fancy! And the rest of the country, rest of the farming, they just have depend on the rain.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So it was crazy to see because people were just walking up and down the mountains picking up. I think I
yeah,
saw a lot of onions when I was there. There were coffee plants, but I saw just, I mean, all throughout the mountains, just a bunch of onions, and they were
yeah.
just going through hand picking them because you can't get equipment up
So
and down
Tristan, why
mountains.
can't we grow coffee beans in America?
You know, we don't have the right climate. We're
Oh, we do. Hawaii.
Hawaii, yeah, but
Yeah,
it comes at a price, right?
yeah.
It comes at a price.
I'm sure that's
Last
gone up in
time,
price too. Oh
yeah,
gosh, I haven't
probably.
looked.
I haven't looked in a year, but when I looked, it was $30 our cost. Our cost, $30 a pound, our cost. And note to all the listeners, we lose roughly 20% when you roast. So our cost, you're talking like almost $40 a pound, our cost.
Yeah, yeah. And one more thing too is uh, what is this is a segue into the big thing going on. So I think last time we spoke about it was Tristan and I threw names around. One of the names we liked a lot and variants of it was called 1 pound coffee or
Hmm.
pound of coffee. Or we
Yeah.
argued about the phrase, but the concept was the same.
I was definitely one
We had
pound
a
coffee.
fist fight. It was so argue. It was a big
That's
fight,
right.
but it was a pound of something, right?
Yeah.
And 1 pound or a pound of, and so him and I both like the idea of not being those brands that sell coffee for at 10, 12, or 14 ounces on the bag. We like the 1 pound concept. And that's the thing that we figured out as we grew is like people they roast their coffee, they lose that 20%. And so the 1 pound of coffee that's green and it's roasted makes that 14 or 12 ounces,
12.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. Right
Yeah.
around 12.
So that's why they make it 12 ounces. They buy the coffee for at a pound, but they sell you the coffee after it's been cooked or and it's shrunk
Hmm.
in weight by water weight. So the big thing is shrinkflation. The bags are still 1 pound, right, Tristan? You didn't change them to 12
Yeah.
ounces?
Full pound. We sell 16 ounces of coffee and 2 and 5 pounds as well, but 1 pound of coffee. No
Yeah.
shrinkflation. No shrinkflation.
Yeah. That was a long segue into where the prices are go up, and they are up, right? They are
Yep.
up.
Yep.
Yep, they're
Yeah.
up. And
But it's not
that's just for
because
this.
we wanted to talk about it. It's not because of the tariffs. That's not the
Yeah.
reason
Oh, that's
necessarily.
right. The terror.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, they play an impact, but it's not the market isn't up because of tariffs. The market's up because of the drought in Brazil and
Yeah.
weather impacting worldwide crops and the
Yeah.
production of the total amount of coffee that has been produced this last year. So,
Yeah.
yes, tariffs are there. Yes, they're working on getting coffee and food excluded, but that's not the major factor in why coffee is up right now. Just
Right.
just to clear there. I mean, it's in there, but it's not the big reason why the coffee market is up.
Right.
And I think we
Yeah.
hear that a lot. The tariffs, the tariffs, the tariffs. Well, yeah, but it's the market. The market. I mean, just you can't control rain. You can't control different insects. You can't control all these different variables that go into coffee every year.
Yeah. And then before we started the recording, Tristan and I were talking about the fact that as any company, big, small, medium, well, maybe Heartless is a different story, but when you're big with a heart or small with a heart, you're always concerned about price increases. And so we pulled our grocery stores and they understood, like,
Yeah,
they understood that
100%.
if it is the price, because they've been feeling it in general as well. So you get, as a business side note, if you found us for the Great Business Podcast, the other Wall Street Journal or Harvard Review,
That's right.
um, the emotional part of running a business is you don't want to lose your good customers, because you think you got them as because you're affordable, and we are still affordable because you get a whole pound. But Tristan roasts good coffee. His formula is we buy good beans and that God has created, and the trucking company shipped and shipping company shipped to us. But he also does a good job at making the beans taste very, very good, because you can ruin beans. He doesn't ruin the beans.
Yeah,
So the beans are quality, and Tristan takes care of them like a good steward of God's land.
that's right. I mean, the farmers put a lot of work in it, right? So, the way
A
I kind of
lot.
look at it is like we should do our best to roast it to what people like, and I think that's a whole nother deal, right? I think there's a lot of companies out there that they roast to what they believe coffee should taste like, but yet do we actually like it? I don't know. I mean, does everyone
Yeah,
enjoy a super, super, super light roast that I can feel on my teeth and it burns all the way down? There's some, but
yeah.
majority no. So we obviously everyone likes something different. And that's why we carry different origins and different roast profiles. But our goal is to provide good coffee at a good price. That's the reality, and we want it to taste good for the majority of people. Like
Do
we
you want to
want
talk
to create.
about the S word,
And what's that?
Starbucks?
Starbucks, yes. So that was another thing. So alluding to the shrinkflation, we're not a part of that. We're fighting against it. Full pound of coffee, right?
We may have to raise the prices, but we're not going to give you less for more money. Like, so, let's
Right,
be clear. Shrinkflation. There's two versions of it. One is the price stays the same and they lower the quantity. The one that's painful is they raise the price and lower the quantity. Go ahead.
right. Well, and
Yeah.
that's you walk through. It's insane. They're renaming box sizes but they stay the same, right? Someone was telling me, like, I picked up a box of Cheerios, and the normal size of box of Cheerios is teeny weeny now, right? It's tiny. And now they just renamed the bigger size to sound bigger, but it stayed the same as the big size. They just increased the price. But I kid you not, I kid you not. I was at Safeway, and this is what he was talking about Starbucks. I kid you not. I was at Safeway. The normal price for a 10-ounce bag of Starbucks was $12.99.
10,
10
10.
ounces. It's ridiculous. 10 ounces, not 12, not 12 like they used to do, 10 ounces. So you calculate that out. It's $1.29 an ounce. Get this. If you buy our coffee at $20 for a full pound of coffee, we are cheaper than Starbucks original price at Safeway.
And if you buy 2 and 5 pounds, it's even less.
It's even less. So,
Yeah.
yeah, our prices might go up, but we're not part of a shrinkflation. We're actually cheaper, and it's going to vary every place. But I was like mind blown. I was like, we're cheaper than Starbucks.
Right.
That's
So yeah,
insane.
when you talk to grocery stores, they get it. I mean,
Well, in 10
they
ounces, you can't make, I mean, 16 ounces, we can roughly
is that
make,
2 pots?
yeah, it's pushing it because so 16 ounces of, of coffee can roughly make you 5 to 6 pots of coffee.
With 5 to 6 scoops.
So when you're talking 6 ounces, that's almost half a pound difference.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
insane. I mean, $12.99. They're almost selling a half pound coffee for $12.99. 8 ounces is
Right.
half pound of coffee.
And we have half pound too if you want to pay extra.
We do. Yeah, we have half pound. But the bagging,
Well,
here's the
as
reality:
a,
bagging costs so much. Bagging costs so much. So
the
when you
bag
buy,
itself.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's insane. It's insane. We're trying to reduce those costs so we can alleviate some stress on the consumer, right? We don't want to bump the increase just simply
We may
because
actually have Tristan, instead of like putting a sticker on, we may buy more markers and then
that's
actually
right,
just
just
write
right
on
on them
there.
all. Yeah, yeah.
Save some money.
Well, going back to Kona, we want to eventually do a Kona drop. It's going to come eventually, but when that day comes, we're totally just riding on the bag. We're going to sell half pound
Right.
half pound coffee and just write Kona on there.
Or send us your Tupperware and we'll send it back to you.
Yeah, that's exactly right. But no,
Yeah.
we're not. I was just mind blown with what's going on with
I
shrinkflation.
wonder
Like
if
I've
we.
always heard of it,
Sorry,
but I
this
was
is
like 10 ounces of coffee. No, 16
I
ounces.
wonder. What do you think if we were to play around for Festival of the Park with Kona? I think people would buy because it's Kona, or it'd be too much of a risk.
I don't know. Honestly, I've been hearing a lot of people really intrigued with Costa Rica, and I've heard some great things coming out of Costa Rica lately. I've heard recently, like many moons ago, a while ago, Mexico and Costa Rica weren't producing the greatest coffee, but over the last decade, like they've really stepped up their game. And here's a funny thing, Armin. Remember when we first started this business and we had a really good coffee that a lot of people
That's
liked?
right. Yeah.
We thought it was Colombian. Here's the deal: our importers sent us Costa Rican. So when I got the next bag of the supposable Colombian, it, it was true Colombian, which we didn't like. It was the Costa
And you, and,
Rican that we
and you roasted it the
actually
same
liked.
way, right? You
Yeah,
roasted it the
yeah.
same way, so it
It
didn't
was
work out.
insane. It was
Yeah.
crazy. So needless to say,
I'm going to
that
write
might
down
be,
Costa Rican.
yeah, Costa Rican. But coming soon to a land near you, we have a Mexico Light coming very soon. I actually just ordered the labels, and let me tell you, it's good. Like I'm not a super light roast guy, and I didn't roast it to like burn your insides, but it's lighter than our Guatemalan and still smooth. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I'm drinking right now the same bean roasted differently. That's real to me. I could actually do. I like the Guatemalan still, but the Mexican as he makes it now is it medium dark. I think
Yep.
those names suck, but in any case, medium dark. I call it Mexican smooth. Ooh,
Suck.
that might be kind of gross though, but it's Mexican medium dark.
Mexican, yeah.
So
Well, so here's the deal. A dark is when you go into the second crack. And this one, the Mexico, the way we roast it now, it goes like barely into the second crack. So I wouldn't classify it a dark necessarily because it's kind of
yeah,
still like going into the second crack when we drop it. So that's why I say medium dark. I don't know.
right,
Our espresso is second crack for sure. And I did that
yeah,
simply because I want I want you to taste that coffee flavor in your milk when you have a latte. If you have a too light a roast, it's kind of like just you taste milk with some sugar.
Yeah, you have to be strong. I mean, I think that's why Starbucks, well, some people, first of all, great business, but for coffee flavors, I think a lot of times that they make it so strong on the espresso side because they have to put it with so much sugar, and it kind of balances out. I mean, if they
Balances,
had
yep.
less sugar consumption, they probably would have a lighter, not as a strong roast. My opinion,
Yeah.
could be totally wrong, but if it wasn't, if they were basically a adult shake factory, not adult shake, but shakes for adults, I guess. They probably have a different roast.
Frappuccinos and all the things, yeah.
Yeah, I used to drink. I used to get my favorite one was when I was drinking sugar, I would have a hot vanilla latte and I'd say make it as hot as you legally can. It would melt the vanilla into like a marshmallow flavor. It kind of burnt it. It was so good, but I don't do sugar
Oh
anymore. Well, I
my.
do sugar, but not. I don't do. I don't spend $18 a day.
Right.
I have my own coffee.
Dude, it's insane. Yeah, I mean, just to get a cup of coffee or latte grande or whatnot at Starbucks is absolutely nuts right now.
Yeah, that's amazing, right? Because a coffee shop is work because it's how many ounces of coffee are used in a cup, but it's the labor part of it. But the idea of going into a store to buy even a drip for 385, where you can do it yourself for a pot
Right.
and
Yeah.
take it with you. Yeah,
Yeah. Well,
yeah,
5 to 6 pots of coffee. I mean,
yeah.
and you can get like mug. Probably if you make a pot of coffee, this mug right here, which by the way, it's handmade, our mug, pretty dope. Um, and I think we actually need to get more of those made, Armin, but that's another
Okay.
discussion.
Well, we should do it
But we're
now
out
because
of
she'll
them.
be busy.
She
Yeah.
is going to be busy. She's here, Emily. She handmade all our mugs, and she's in Spearfish. So I'm gonna definitely have to hit her up for some more because
All right.
they're legit. But
Cool.
yeah, I need to do that soon. But this cup right here, if you make a pot of coffee, that could probably give you 6 cups.
Yeah.
So I mean, you boil that down, yeah. Making coffee at home, you do save a ton. But once again, packaging, disposable cups, all those things play factors. They do.
I gotta go soon, but Tristan had a really good idea. If we were to ever open up a location or partner with somebody, is putting it somewhere with bulk. Obviously, you can't have my dirty hands go in there, so I'd be served from the behind the counter. But have a place that has it in bulk, and you bring in your container and fill up with coffee. It'd save a
Right.
little bit of money.
Yeah, yeah. We talked about doing discount if you bring your own container. Um,
Yeah,
I want to, yeah, for sure work it out somehow. I'd love to do it at some point,
yeah.
but
But you do need to
we'll
have the
figure it out.
grocery store or the coffee shop actually do the work because you don't want to have unclean hands in the containers
Right, right.
or unclean containers just going in there.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. But here's
Yeah,
the thing: boil this all down. We are fighting against the big companies, right? Stay small and you'll save money. That's the reality. If you look at our price, you're like, oh, it's more expensive, but here it is not. If you calculate it out, we're actually right there. You can support us. You can support your local store, support local coffee shops. You're gonna save money. Actually, that's the reality. Like we don't have a bunch of overhead. We don't have a big CEO to pay for, right? It's just us, a couple of knuckleheads making coffee. And we have a couple people that are helping us right now, Reese and Jack. They're doing great. They've been roasting
yeah,
for a while. Um, and I don't want to not mention them because they're doing great job roasting right now and helping us out for sure. So
right. And
shop
on that
local,
small,
man.
before we go, in theory, that $5 you pay for drip at any place or 385, it does stay in the local town
Yeah,
easier if it is a local business instead of going to Seattle.
right.
Um, it, Still America, but
Yeah.
it is staying in the economy, and he can go buy something from another vendor, another merchant in town easier. So
Yeah. But I do want to say, man, we are grateful that we can do this. We love doing this. We love you guys. We are grateful that you are supporting us. You're buying our product, you're loving our coffee because we love doing this and we love
yeah,
talking about coffee. We love partnering with you, partnering with farmers and co-ops around the world. It's so fun to learn more and more about what goes into coffee because it is not a simple process. And so next time you look at that bag of coffee, and on our website, it's $20 for a pound. Once again, calculate it out. We're right in the market. It's good coffee. It's fresh coffee. We roast it the day of pretty much and send it off. If not that week, we roast it. We send it off to you. Super fresh, right? But it's you calculate it out and it's worth it because we're right in the running. It's not more expensive.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen.
And we're just grateful that you're willing to support us. We're grateful that we can do it. You guys rock.
Oh, we picked music today. I don't know what it's called, but maybe we'll change it in the future. But right now, it's good, some good music. I feel like I'm gonna go on a road trip. So
That's right. So thanks for listening. Peace.
peace out.